It's hard for me to get excited about the upcoming Phineas and Ferb reboot. I absolutely adore this series, but it got 4 full seasons, a great movie, and it was ultimately capped off with a rather satisfying conclusion. Summer vacation ends, and that's okay. But Disney obviously disagrees, though.
Money, please! Money, please.
My apprehension isn't solely tied to capitalism fatigue. Other attempts to continue Phineas and Ferb have been less than stellar. Neither of the Doof-centric pilots got picked up, and though Candace vs. the Universe wasn't exactly bad, the film was still pretty underwhelming aside from that one joke about the chicken.
Wait a minute, accidents can happen.
Dad, we're not going to kill this chicken.
I'm not fundamentally opposed to the existence of show revivals. The DuckTales reboot proved that such a practice doesn't have to be a soulless money grab, but I'd rather see industry resources go towards lesser-known projects that never got a fair chance at success. I don't want more Phineas and Ferb. I want more of its spin-off show, Milo Murphy's Law.
Never boring even for a minute. It's my world and we're all living in it.
That's right, folks. Requiem for a Cancelled Show is back! The series was supposed to return in September, but my sister just had to go into labor that month. Thanks a lot, Katie.
You ruined everything, you stupid bitch.
The first season of Milo Murphy's Law aired exclusively on Disney XD, a pay television channel primarily geared towards young boys. This was, for all intents and purposes, a ratings death sentence. Disney XD isn't included in most cable packages, and limited access to a network means limited access to viewers. The show was eventually switched over to Disney Channel halfway through its run, but it continued to struggle with finding an audience.
That might be a problem.
Its troubled lifespan ultimately ended with a quiet cancellation after the release of Season 2's finale, Sphere and Loathing in Outer Space.
Oops. I think we're gonna need another ship.
A lack of consistent viewership does not translate to a lack of quality, though. Milo Murphy's Law is excellent. Its running jokes are top-notch, the songs are quite catchy, and the animation is simply wonderful.
And expertly storyboarded.
James Kim.
He just became a daddy.
In many ways, Milo Murphy's Law is a philosophical rebuttal to Phineas and Ferb. The latter is a show where everything goes right for our titular characters. Their inventions always work, each day constitutes a success, and Candace never manages to meaningfully bust them.
I guess some things look better in photos.
This is essentially what childhood feels like. You're an invincible force. No dream is too big. The word impossible has yet to become a staple of your vocabulary.
Aren't you a little young to be a roller coaster engineer?
Yes I am.
Well, I must say I'm very impressed.
Milo Murphy's Law hits different as an adult. The common adage, what can go wrong will go wrong, is far from a proven scientific theory, but it retains an indelible level of truth that anyone over the age of 18 can relate to. When it rains, it fucking pours.
Maybe we should go through the woods.
What's particularly endearing about this show is Milo himself. Nothing ever goes right for this kid. Calamity stalks him around every corner, yet he always maintains a positive attitude.
You want to live like those other kids? They took a bus to school today. A bus! Does that seem like more fun to you?
I find his optimistic outlook to be deeply aspirational. If I had to walk a mile in those brown slip-on shoes, I would more than likely drown from a deluge of negative thoughts. But the impulse to wallow in self-pity never even occurs to Milo. He's determined to make the best of his rotten situation, which is ridiculously impressive, because this boy lives on the struggle bus.
I better put on my seatbelt.
How's that going to work?
Easy. You insert the tab into the buckle until you hear it click. Like this.
Oh, I get it now.
If I had a nickel for every time Weird Al Yankovic played a character in one of my favorite prematurely canceled shows, I'd have 2 nickels. Go watch Gallivant. You'll thank me later.
We are jazz hands.
Can't we just have a normal adventure?
Whereas every kid in Danville wants to be friends with Phineas and Ferb, the people of Jefferson County avoid Milo like the plague.
The one Milo free zone ruined.
Murphy's Law is an isolating factor. Most of Milo's peers steer clear of him because they don't want to experience any collateral damage. He is, for all intents and purposes, the middle school pariah.
Oh, hey Milo.
Hey guys.
Zach and Melissa are initially the only 2 people who are willing to suffer through this phenomenon. But as the series progresses, more and more people come to appreciate Milo's life approach. He's the static character. The rest of the supporting cast develops around him.
Things go wrong with or without the thing that shall not be named.
You mean Murphy's Law?
No one listens! But you're always prepared, and I realize that no matter what happens, it's just better having you around.
Really?
Really. Now let's go win this cooking show by roller skating through an obstacle course.
This is in stark contrast to Phineas and Ferb, where the showrunners essentially hit reset after every installment, save for a few key plot lines like Candace and Jeremy's relationship or Buford joining the gang.
We're frenemies, we like disliking one another. Yes, we're frenemies, he's like my least favorite brother.
Every spinoff struggles with differentiating itself from its predecessor. Having an audience to pull from is both a unique advantage and an unenviable problem, because you still have to craft a separate identity for your work whilst also honoring a pre-existing universe.
Party boy! It's just a game piece. Why does he have a skeleton?
Frasier and Angel did this successfully. Joey and Once Upon a Time in Wonderland did not. But interestingly enough, Dan and Swampy don't want you to separate these two shows. In fact, there are times when it feels like they're hitting you over the head with a platypus-shaped sledgehammer, and even though you're begging for them to stop, begging for them to show just a little bit of mercy or restraint, they just won't relent. But I'm getting ahead of myself. The best thing about Dwampyverse content is that these shows embrace the inherent absurdity present in cartoons.
I can't believe you fell for that old fake window trick. Wait a second, how did you... Oh, I can't believe I fell for the old fake Perry the Platypus bit.
Animation isn't a genre, it's a versatile story medium. The lack of real-world restrictions allows for creative, boundary-pushing elements to appear in nearly every episode.
Hey, Mort, how's it going?
Not great. I just got this job and I already dropped 3 of these flesh-colored bags of red paint.
Milo's backpack, for example, defies the laws of physics. But who cares? Science is meaningless in the face of a hilarious gag that simultaneously strengthens the show's pathos. If you're moderately prepared for every eventuality, then the worst-case scenario doesn't look so dismal.
Okay, where's your anchor?
It's my world and we're all living in it.
Another interesting aspect of this spin-off is present in the show's B-plot. Perry and Dr. Doofenshmirtz's battles primarily existed in bubble space. They hardly ever interacted with the main storyline, and when they did, it wasn't in any direct sense. Everything is indeed interconnected, but the only person who learned the true nature of these crossover events was Stacy.
And this is pharmacist.
Really? Really? Why does everyone just stampede to that conclusion? Other people wear lab coats, you know.
She is too good for this world, and we do not deserve her. The secondary plot of Milo Murphy's Law takes a little while to develop. There's a recurring pair of odd pistachio salesmen who appear in the first few episodes, and they become more relevant as the series progresses.
There you go, all set. Hop on.
Oh, sorry!
These men are revealed to be Balthazar Cavendish and Vinny Dakota, 2 time travelers who were sent back to the 21st century in order to prevent their commanding officer's favorite nut from going extinct.
I think we're in the 1800s.
What?
They got a zoetrope out there. But you know, they also had fluorescent lights, so maybe we're just in a public school.
I love them so much. Their dynamic is that of an old married couple, and I ship it like crazy. They are husbands. You cannot convince me otherwise.
We get to see actual live animals.
Dreadfully happy for you.
Happy for us. We're going to the zoo. We're going to the zoo.
If you're wondering why they're dressed like that, the 2 of them agreed to wear outfits from the American 70s. But Cavendish chose the 1870s and Dakota chose the 1970s. That alone should give you a fairly sufficient grasp of their rather eclectic personalities.
You had one job.
Yeah, you had the same job.
Roughly halfway through season 1, Cavendish and Dakota realize that Milo is the common denominator whenever their missions go awry. Since neither of them know about Murphy's Law, our time-traveling spouses are forced to theorize reasons as to why one kid would trigger so many pistachio-related disasters.
I sure love cheese fries.
Cavendish is convinced that Milo is an enemy agent dead set on foiling their efforts. By drawing this conclusion, he gives himself a greater sense of purpose and imbues this pointless task with meaning. Their mission to save a delicious nut can't be insignificant if someone else was assigned to stop them.
Who are you working for? The Black Radish Underground? The Marmoset League?
Dakota, on the other hand, does not give a shit.
Okay, you take care now.
Don't tell him to take care.
I am just being nice.
His sense of personal fulfillment isn't tied to a specific job title. So long as he's with Cavendish, he's content to carry out any given task, no matter how meaningless it may be.
Look on the bright side.
My entire career has been one big inconsequential joke. Where is the bright side?
Their story arc was tailor-made for me. I'm always referencing existential philosophy in my video essays, and this is a prime example of it. The universe is largely indifferent to mankind, so in the absence of a clear divine purpose, people have to create their own sources of meaning. Cavendish thinks he'll find it through his work, whereas Dakota knows that he finds it through their friendship.
I'm just thinking, what did Cavendish do to deserve all this effort? He's Cavendish. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
This theme carries over into Season 2, which also tackles the immensely tricky topic of destiny.
I'm your density. Your destiny.
Season 1 of Milo Murphy's Law ends on a major cliffhanger. Sentient pistachio monsters take over Danville, so Milo teams up with Cavendish, Dakota, and his favorite showrunner Orton Malson to find the fabled Professor Time, the man who invented time travel.
Wait, you're not the pizza delivery guy. This is my pizza delivery guy trap.
This naturally segues into the big crossover event with Phineas and Ferb. It's a great episode full of fun moments. I especially enjoyed watching a triangle-shaped boy interact with normal-looking human characters, but it was really jarring to hear Ferb speak first.
Looks like it's time to whack some weeds.
Well, somebody's chatty.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did you want to say that?
No, by all means.
What an absolute jump scare. Our heroes emerge victorious, but not without casualties.
My building! I crash on your couch.
From this point onward, Dr. Doofenshmirtz becomes a main member of Milo Murphy's Law's cast. I have mixed feelings about his inclusion here. To a certain extent, I love his internal struggles with being good and living up to his predetermined future as Professor Time. But more often than not, he's a complete nuisance who hijacks both the show and the Murphy's family couch.
I have limited edition curtains just like those.
Pretty sure you mean had. Wow, she sounds upset. Here, have a muffin.
When I first watched Milo Murphy's Law, I assumed that Doof's extended role was a studio mandate from Disney, but in actuality, the inverse is true. Fellow YouTuber Silverworks interviewed Dan and Swampy roughly 4 years ago, and they admitted that Doof's presence was something they actively fought for and championed. So at least this problem was self-imposed?
It worked!
That's awesome.
So it was fun.
Alex Hirsch is out there somewhere punching air as we speak.
This is maybe the dumbest collection of notes I've ever received. Seriously, reread this entire paragraph out loud.
Despite my complaints, Season 2 is still solid. The overarching sci-fi trope it pulls from this time is alien abduction, which is engaging, cool, and far less likely to make you crave pistachios at all hours of the day, unlike Season 1's Invasion of the Body Snatchers plot.
I don't have any words, except you look delicious. Oh, sorry, default mode.
That's okay. You look delicious too.
If the show had gotten a third season, a robot uprising would have likely been the story direction they leaned into. Otherwise, A Clockwork Origin and The Ticking Clock are just two really bad episodes that have no business being in this series' fairly stellar catalog.
Look at this V-Phone 6. It's just smaller than the 5 and bigger than the 4. That is literally the only difference, and it's flying off the shelves!
I love mocking tech billionaires as much as the next gal, but Steve Jobs is low-hanging fruit, and these jabs could never top inside Jobs' treatment of Jeff Bezos.
I can't believe Jeff Bezos is dead. And right in his prime.
I'm obviously used to my favorite shows getting canceled at this point, but Milo Murphy's Law is particularly depressing for me because the franchise it came from is still alive and well. It was really discouraging to learn that Milo's cameo in Candace vs. the Universe got cut, and of all the spin-off exclusive characters to make a reappearance, I don't think anybody was clamoring for Trucker Ted's return to the silver screen.
Ah, thank goodness.
We did finally get a full version of Chop Away at My Heart, aka the greatest boy band parody song ever written, but it feels like Milo and his friends have largely been forgotten and left behind. There's a lack of regard shown towards these characters and their abandoned subsect of Danville, and frankly, I think that's unacceptable. This show deserves an audience. It deserves your attention. Things can and will go wrong in your life, but this series serves as a reminder to stay strong and persevere through the hard times. Make your own purpose, give destiny the middle finger, and reject the labels other people wrongfully assign to you.
What did you do? Okay, I can see how, on first glance, this might appear, an abomination.
It is an abomination. I can hear you.
Oh, did I forget to mention there's an entire subplot where Doof crossbreeds Cavendish's DNA with a platypus's? It's unironically amazing. We stan Cavenpuss.
What is that abomination? Said the talking space octopus.
In conclusion, this show would have gotten 7 seasons if they'd just let Sabrina Carpenter sing.
Please, 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 don't prove I'm right.
This video is brought to you by my patrons. If you'd like to support me and the channel, please consider pledging. I would deeply appreciate it. Until next time, take care.